welcome. If you made your way here, there's a journey that your soul said yes to before you're even born. Part of me from taking it back to the beginning, the very point of primordial creation, for the sake of practicality. Let's fast forward a bit. So there is, I'm getting like a tunnel that you hopped into. I'm feeling like it's even been within the last year. Like there was this opening in which your soul so badly wanted to expand into a more quantum experience of reality. And you said yes, you jumped. You literally jumped into this portal of possibility, and you have been experiencing life in a much more quantum way. I know that you are a spiritual being. You've been experiencing this kind of thing for quite some time, but there is something about like you going all in, you not negotiating with your small self anymore, you not putting up with yourself, putting limiting beliefs onto you, creating literal energetic prisons around you with your own mind. There is a part of you that fully was non-negotiable about your remembrance of your power of co-creating this reality for yourself in each and every moment. Like you stopped putting up with your ego limiting you. And that doesn't mean that those things don't still come up, but they come up because they're automatic behavior, not because your conscious mind sees them and lets them slide. Somebody just knock? I don't think they really did, but it sounded like a knock. Knock, knock. The portal of possibility is, I don't even think it's waiting. The doors have opened. The doors have flung open. This message is coming to you because there is an amping up of the magic, the synchronicities, and the experience of the cosmic synchronization that is occurring at this time that is going to keep amping up and amping up, particularly over this summer season. And the reason why it's going to be so incredibly special, like on another level, for you is because you had jumped into this tunnel of quantum change for yourself. This message is particularly relevant for you if you've made a big change within your life in the past 6 months or a year that was genuinely like leaving behind some sort of like comfort zone structure within your reality that had just become too small for the bigness of you. And it's because you were always meant to experience you liberating yourself, and then from there actually living in a reality of liberation in which you notice in all moments when you start to restrict yourself and you're like, no more, and you jump beyond it, you jump beyond it, you jump beyond it. And so I really feel this essence of you making love to the quantum field. And what's so cool about the quantum field is it does not require us to like hyper fixate on micromanaging exactly what is going to come through for us. It actually requires a willingness to constantly embody our belief, our faith, and our trust, and our willingness to act on our divine inspiration and hold a vision of anything is possible for ourselves, and like kind of hold like a direction for ourselves, and even desires, things that we want to experience. But then it also requires us to like literally merge with the vast infinite potential that is like awaiting us, that is like all around us. Because it's like when we connect to that energy, we connect to the frequency of, it's the energy of infinite potential. And it also is like this energy that like collapses in ways that surprise us and delight us in ways that like we came here to be surprised and delighted in. I'm very much so getting the energy like prepare to be, you don't actually have to prepare. That's just a way for me to say you're about to be surprised and delighted. You are about to be surprised and delighted. And so, honestly, the more that you can expect that you're about to be surprised and delighted, the better. There is like a vastness to this field that is so magical. It has like the energy of a God wink. Like if you tune into the infinite and like all you can see is like God winking back at you, because the energy is like, if you even knew the vastness of like what all this really is, what it really means, the path you're really walking, but also if you even knew what's on the other side of the doors, like what you're going to swing past as you're going through. I'm literally seeing like one of those quantum tunnels that's going through space-time, and it's like, and you already got on that tunnel, but the thing is that the speed is picking up because the galactic and the high frequencies that we receive at this time of the year, they just like, if you look back and you notice, and you've been on this path for quite some time, you'll notice that the summer is a very spiritually activating time because we get so much galactic energy here. So you'll start receiving a lot of upgrades. You'll meet a lot of people that are soulmates, divine counterparts, important people along your path. You will receive ideas and inspirations that are life-changing. You'll literally like change on a cellular level, and I feel like you are in a space where you are you're more awake to your divinity and your infinite potential, and also the beautiful like cosmic web of this reality than like you ever have been. So you are more primed and prepped than ever to have the most magical season of this than you have ever had thus far. And on top of that, in tropical astrology, Uranus is now in Gemini, and Uranus is the energy of like electric, lightning, awakening, quantum change, and it's happening in Gemini, which it was in Taurus before in tropical astrology. If you know, you know. That's my, what is it when you put a little thing in there to, I'm not going to think of the word right now, but for the people who would be like, not in sidereal astrology, I'm just throwing it out there. I know. But it's still like a layer of this reality that's going on. It's not a preface. I'm not going to get stuck down that rabbit hole. If you know what I'm saying, please put it in the comments. But there is so Taurus is a very like thick energy. It's like stuck, it's stubborn, it's stable, but it's like takes a lot to move a bull. Gemini is one of the most quick moving signs. It actually might be the most quick moving sign. Like it literally can go from thing to thing to thing. It's very futuristic. It's very innovative. It's very adaptable. And it is also a major energy of, people don't talk about it much, but Gemini is the energy of the twin. Oh my God, this is going to send me into a whole other message. Okay, it's the energy of the twin. So it actually is the energy of alchemical union. You can look up, should I edit this video and like put it on the screen here? I'm gonna put a picture of the alchemical marriage right here. So the ultimate goal of alchemy is union of the yin and the yang energies within yourself. So your divine masculine, your divine feminine, your yin, your yang energy, your prana energy, your apana energy, your expansive energy, your contractive energy. It's like you mastering the polarity of life to the point where like you create a perfect balance, and then boom, you are able to awaken to your own God consciousness because you have mastered the polarity. And that's almost the purpose of Earth School, and honestly this reality in particular, because not every realm operates on duality and polarity. It does here. And so that is why it's a very profound school to come here, because in mastering these energies, in allowing two things to exist at once, and also like embracing the power of them both, you create this like chemical reaction that is the power of the infinite. It's almost like those two dual forces, the yin and the yang, are what create that perfect combination. And then boom, you're experiencing the whole. You're experiencing the truth of reality. You're experiencing your own infinite potential. And so Gemini is actually symbolizing the twins. It's symbolizing the actualization and the union of both of those energies that lead to a perfect harmonic balance. And so the highest expression of that energy is you achieving alchemical union within, which, if it's part of your soul path and part of your soul destiny, it will lead to alchemical union without, with another. And that is why this whole concept of divine counterparts, like, people don't get into it in as much of like a spiritual concept nowadays, because there's so much like low vibrational programming around love and relationships in our society for a reason. The reason is because it's so powerful. Do you know how much that there are agendas to put so much distorted, confusing programming around the things that actually hold the most power and potential for humans to awaken to their own divinity in this realm? If you look at things that like we have been taught to make so distorted or to reject or to be obsessed with, but in an unhealthy way, through a distorted lens, it's because those are actually portals to power, to self-remembrance, to our embodiment of our own God, goddess consciousness. And so divine unions is one of those, because first off, like, the first path is divine union within, and when you have that, you are one with source consciousness, you're one with your creator, you actually don't need anything outside of you. But then if it's a part of your path, you experience that with that version of that outside of you being drawn to you like a magnet, because you are embodying the wholeness of your divine energy. It's very different than per se having a relationship that is just about like physical security in the earthly realm. And that is often why these things, like, I'm not a fan of like of putting this kind of like title or importance upon any relationship. I'm just a fan of self-realization and then allowing whatever needs to unfold in the external to unfold for the highest good of all beings and this planet. But that is oftentimes why even like divine unions will weave in and out, because you come together to activate and awaken certain parts, but y'all are not in a place of internal union. And so, but you wouldn't almost like be able to get to that next level as quickly if you did not cross paths. And so you'll be a catalyst for one another, and you'll be sent on your separate ways because you have not come to the place you need to be at. And then who knows, maybe you're meant to be in some other relationship and that's where it ends up, and that's that. But oftentimes, especially old souls, you come back together and you weave just like those two strands, just like the yin and yang energy I'm talking about that balances out, and then the kundalini can rise. Then eventually, boom, you made it. So that does happen. And Uranus and Gemini, the cosmic awakening, the lightning bolt, Gemini, the twins, the balance of the polarity. Within Uranus and Gemini for the next 7 years, divine unions will become, I think, more relevant, more of like an actual grounded reality and example of the way that like love actually can be divine, but because of that, it's like not such a heavy emphasis or obsession on the love. It is on living out one's divine destiny, one's own personal actualization, and that just literally happens because the result is an alchemical marriage within and without. And so I feel like there hasn't been a ton of like actual grounded examples of this, except for like very occasional relationships. And even those, I feel like the environment hasn't been prepped and primed to support on a larger level, but also there have been ones in like folklore, like, you know, Shiva and Parvati, very interesting story, highly recommend looking into it. Radha and Krishna, so on, so on. Like, these are Mary Magdalene and Jesus. These are examples of this being a legitimate thing, and I feel as if we're gonna have a lot more examples of this coming to be. Like I said, I don't think it should be the ultimate goal. This is just coming through as a prediction as I'm like going through what I'm talking about, and also this energy has come very strong the past 2 summers. Maybe if you're resonating with this message, you had some sort of experience this past summer, and perhaps it was confusing for you because it felt like divine love, but it didn't last. But also, can you say you were changed from it? this part is only for specific people. You don't have to like resonate with this to resonate with the whole message, but were you not changed from it? That's what I'm talking about. Set apart, to transform, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, how did this even start? You're in the tunnel. You're in the tunnel, and we're entering that point again. I feel like you experienced it last summer. This summer, it's about to be on a whole other level where those synchronicities start to increase. If you are kind of somewhat on that like divine union timeline, you might start to, that's like a part of your soul path. A lot of the synchronicities that you experienced last summer might have correlated to that and seemed so crazy and so wild and so like magical and so activating. That is going to start happening again. Maybe it already did. But this is one point that I definitely want to make, is that these synchronicities that you're experiencing that make you feel a sense of like awe and like profound presence with what is like because it's like you meet God in those moments. You meet your higher self in those moments. You break the fourth wall in those moments with Source. And those moments are moments where you're actually getting like an energetic upgrade. You're getting like a pocket of information, of upgrade, of magic, of high frequency. And it's almost like they're the precursor for the things that are going to fall into your physical reality in the future. It's almost like as they drop in these like events, these destined meetings, events, and occurrences that are happening on your future timeline, as they drop into the future timeline, because everything everywhere all at once, the future is happening at the same time as the present moment. So those things are dropping in for you because of who you're showing up as in the present moment, and also because they're destined for you on this highest timeline in which you were walking upon due to your actions, your thoughts, your emotions, your energy in the present moment. So as you're showing up in the present moment, boom, these things drop in on a future timeline, and they are like connected in a through line of energy from that future timeline to now. And like the symbol that pops up in your current reality is that synchronicity. It's a symbol, it's a symbolic expression in this divine simulation of what has just dropped in for you in a future timeline. And that's why you feel so much magic from it. It's not like just, oh, God is alive, magic is afoot. This synchronicity is really a wild synchronicity. It's like you're feeling the energy of what has dropped in for you and what you're about to meet. And also the energy of that is priming and prepping you to be it's like raising your frequency through the way you feel when you see it. That's priming and prepping your system to be a vibrational match for you receiving it as you walk into your future. So it's one of those like, what came first, the chicken or the egg kind of thing. And like the chicken or the egg, the question is unanswerable because there is no first or last. Everything, everywhere, all at once. So basically, expect synchronicities to start ramping up. They probably already have. Expect a lot of energetic upgrades. The more grounded and the more grounded you can stay, and the more care you take of yourself, the better, because your physical vessel and your nervous system, their state is going to be they're the foundation through which you can receive all of these upgrades and which you can experience this timeline for yourself. Am I still recording? Yeah, we are. Okay, I'm pushing it. They are the precursor through which, of like, how much you're able to like receive and ground in. So remember, balance, temperance. I'm seeing the temperance card in my mind's eye. Remember your spiritual hygiene, your grounding practices, the meditative practices that keep you balanced and aligned. The more that you are tapping into these things as the energy starts and continues to ramp up, the better. And then don't overthink, having control over exactly what's going to happen. Bringing me back to my original point of you're making love to the quantum realm. When you step out beyond the known into the realm of the unknown and you raise your frequency, you project the best for yourself, you take divinely inspired action, you are opening yourself up to high frequency, infinite possibility. And so that is why a lot of what comes through will surprise you. It will be more magical than you could imagine. And this hinges upon you consistently making love to that unknown. that quantum field, that portal of infinite possibility that you're seeing yourself constantly walking through, knowing that you're going to be blessed, that you're going to be brought everything you want and need, and so many magical surprises along the way. And your job is just taking care of your energy, expecting the best, tapping into the knowing that the quantum field loves you. It's going to be sending you the best. It's going to be taking you on a ride of a lifetime. Make love to it. Make it your lover. You're not afraid of it. You're embracing it. You're asking it every day, like, what ways are you going to surprise and delight me? And also be willing to surprise and delight the quantum field. And by that, I mean, like, when you feel inspired, do a thing that like you never would have done before. That's a way you can surprise and delight the quantum field. And then the quantum field will surprise and delight you. My card ran out of storage. My camera is so full. So that's that. I'm gonna stop yelling. I feel like I've been yelling at you with a little bit of whisper. But I'm just hyped. It's gonna be a good summer. You are awesome. If you made it this far, real recognize real. I will catch you in the next one. If you ever need a personal reading, link is in the description below. And I'm excited to be on this ride with you because we're in it together. So buckle up, or don't. But if you don't, you have to sign a waiver first.